Zodiac killer was a serial killer who terrorized the streets of San Francisco in the late 1960s and early 1970s, especially between December 1968 and October 1969. He claimed the lives of 7 victims, but there is speculation that he killed 37 people. He created the name Zodiac in the series of letters he sent to the press. The letters contained 4 ciphers which were very difficult, and out of the 4 only one was solved. Victims: David Arthur Faraday and Betty Lau Jensen, December 20th, 1968. Michael Reno Maggio and Darlene Elizabeth Farron, July 4th, 1969. Brian Calvin Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, September 27th, 1969. Paul Lee Stein, October 11th, 1969. There have been suspected but not confirmed victims like Robert Domingos and Linda Edwards, Sherry Jo Bates, Donna Lass, and Kathleen Johns. On December 20th, 1968, Betty Lau Jensen and David Faraday were murdered in a known lover's lane. Forensics say that the killer parked beside them, walked to their car and ordered them out. Jensen seemingly exited the car first. When Faraday stepped out, he was shot in the head. Jensen was shot 5 times through the back, fleeing. On July 4th, 1969, Darlene Farron and Michael Maggio were shot in a spot 4 miles away from the first shooting at Lake Herman Road. The killer parked beside them, drove away, then returned 10 minutes later. He shot them 5 times. The killer walked away but came back and shot them again after hearing Maggio moan. On July 5th, 1969, a man from the police department and claimed responsibility for the murders. He was traced to a location less than a mile from Farron's home. Farron died, but Maggio miraculously survived. On August 1st, 1969, the killer sent 3 letters to the press: Vallejo Times Herald, the Chronicle, and the Examiner. He took credit for the shooting of the 4 victims. Each letter also included 1/3 of a site the killer claimed contained his identity. He demanded all the letters to be published, or he would cruise around all weekend killing lone people in the night, then move on to kill again, until I end up with 12 people over the weekend. On August 7th, 1969, another letter was sent to the Examiner saying, "Dear editor, this is the Zodiac speaking." He sent it because the police wanted more proof that he killed the victims. He wrote details about the murders, saying that if the police crack his code, they will have me. On August 8th, 1969, the cipher was cracked and said, "I like killing people because I TISS so much more FUN than killing wild game. INTHE force because MANISTHE most danger LNMLOFALLTO kill something gives METHE most thrilling experience. ITIS even better than getting your rocks OFF with the girl. THE best part IST when IDIE will be reborn. Empire to say and if they have killed will become MY slaves. I will NOT give YOUMY name because YOU will TRYTO slow down OR MY collect Shoko G slaves FORMY afterlife EBORIETMFPT. On September 27th, 1969, Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were on a small island at Lake Berryessa when a man approached them with a gun, wearing an executioner's hood with clip-on sunglasses and the Zodiac symbol on his chest. He claimed he was an escapee convicted from Montana, where he killed a guard and stole a car. He said he needed their car and money to go to Mexico. He had them tied up and stabbed them repeatedly. He hicked 500 years and drew the cross symbol on Hartnell's car door and wrote beneath it, Valid 20th of December 1968/September 27th -69-6:30/ by-knife. At 7:40 p.m. the killer called the sheriff's office and reported his crime. Shepard died but Hartnell survived to tell the story. On October 11th, 1969, a man entered a cab driven by Paul Stein and requested to be taken to Presidio Heights. He then shot Stein in the head, took his wallet and a piece of his bloody shirt. On October 14th, 1969, the Chronicle received another letter from Zodiac containing a piece of Stein's shirt confirming he was the killer and threatened killing children on a school bus, saying, "Just shoot out the front tire and then pick off the kiddies as they come bouncing out." On October 20th, 1969, a man called Oakland PD demanding that one of the two lawyers, F. Lee Bailey or Melvin Belly, to show up on a local TV show. Belly appeared and someone called several times claiming to be Zodiac and said his name was Sam. He agreed to meet Belly but never showed up. On November 8th, 1969, he sent another decoded cipher. On November 9th, he mailed a 7-page letter saying that 2 policemen actually talked to him 3 minutes after he shot Stein. On December 28th, he sent a letter to Belly with another Stein's shirt and asked for his help. On March 22nd, 1970, Kathleen Johns and her daughter were kidnapped after a man tightened the tire on her car but the tire flew away and he picked them up in his car. He drove back and forth for 90 minutes changing the subject when asked why he was doing this. When he stopped, they jumped out and hid in a field. The driver kept saying he wouldn't hurt her but eventually left. She recognized the police sketch of Stein's killer as her abductor. Her car was torched afterwards. For the rest of 1970, the Zodiac continued sending letters to the police taunting them with ciphers that supposedly would reveal his name. He talked about not blowing up a police station and drawing his symbol with the score 10 SFPD=0 with a diagram of a bomb he'd used to blow up a school bus. He later threatened to blow it up unless his words were published. He admitted to more murders, paraphrased songs, more ciphers and took credit for John's abduction. He talked again about his slaves and Paratus, signing the letters with the cross-circle symbol with scores like 12, 14 SFPD=0. He sent more clues to the locations of his murders. On October 27th, 1970, he sent Chronicle reporter Paul Avery a Halloween card saying, "Peekaboo, you are doomed." Another letter was sent to Avery pointing out similarities between Zodiac's Dotto and the murder of Sherry Jo Bates, unsolved, which occurred 4 years earlier in El Canela. On October 31st, 1966, Sherry Jo Bates was found dead near the library at Riverside Community College. The day before, neighbors heard screaming around 10:30 p.m. The wires in her car were pulled out, she was brutally beaten and stabbed to death. A man's watch was found nearby stopped at 12:24. On November 29th, 1966, nearly identical typewritten letters were sent to the police titled, "The Confession." He claimed responsibility for Bates' murder and gave details about the murder. He said that Bates is not the first and she will not be the last. A poem was also discovered carved into a desk at the college titled, "Sick of Living / and Willing to Die." The handwriting and style was similar to Zodiac's. It was signed RH, which could be his initials. On April 30th, 1967, Bates' father, the examiner and the police received identical letters saying, "Bates had to die, there will be more," but none of them didn't have the Z signature. He sent a letter to the El.Times saying, "There are a hell of a lot more down there," meaning murders in Riverside. On March 22nd, 1971, a letter was sent to the Chronicle addressed to Avery, who claimed responsibility for the disappearance of Donna S. On June 4th, 1963, Robert Domingos and Linda Edwards were shot on a bench near Lompoc. Supposedly they were shot while trying to flee after being tied up. The killer put their bodies in a small sack and unsuccessfully tried to burn it down. On January 29th, 1974, he sent a letter to the Chronicle praising the movie The Exorcist as the best satirical movie that I have ever seen. And an unusual symbol at the bottom. He signed it me equals 37, SFPD equals 0. Many letters were sent later, but none were confirmed to be Zodiac's. The Exorcist letter was his last. There have been many suspects, but the first and main one was Arthur Lee Allen. A letter sent to the police from Bates' killer was typed with the same brand typewriter found in Allen's residence. He wore a Zodiac brand watch, lived in Vallejo, and worked minutes away from where Darlene Ferrin lived. He was in Riverside the day Bates was murdered. Allen allegedly confessed to his friend Don Chaney before the Zodiac appeared on the scene that he would kill couples at random. He'd taunt the police with detail-giving letters. He'd sign the letters with a cross-circle symbol from his watch. He'd call himself Zodiac. He'd wear makeup to change his appearance. Attach a flashlight to a gun to be able to shoot at night, like Zodiac did with Ferrin and Magella. He'd also fool women to change their attires, loosen them and kidnap them. Kathleen Johns. Allen loved a book about hunting a man, like an animal. Allen was arrested in June 1958 because of Ralph Spinelli. Zodiac would later taunt Spinelli in a letter. According to friends and family, Allen used to spell words differently, like Xmas instead of Xmas. Zodiac later used spelling mistakes like this in letters. According to a 1992 police report, surviving victim Michael magnified Allen as his shooter. Allen confessed to having a set of bloody knives the day of the Burriesa murders and claimed he used them to kill a chicken. He always had silly alibis for the times of the murders, like using fictional characters' names. Both Allen and Zodiac had a size 10.5 shoes. Investigations revealed that Darlene Ferrin knew a man named Lee, which could very well be Lee Allen. Allen had the same bomb recipes as mentioned by Zodiac in one of his letters. All this is proof he was Zodiac. However, he was never arrested as the fingerprints and DNA never matched. Allen is most definitely connected to Zodiac. However, there were many other suspects like Jack Torrance who had a lot of evidence like Zodiac. He had a hood similar to the one worn by Zodiac. Supposedly a DNA test by the FBI was deemed inconclusive in 2010. His stepson claimed to have rolls of film taken by his stepfather and photos of the victims, but they were so blurry nothing was confirmed. Robert Tarbox was also suspected. Richard Gajkowski was suspected as he resembled the Zodiac sketch, and a woman named Nancy Slover, who was contacted by Zodiac before, identified Gajkowski's voice as being the same as Zodiac's. Darlene Ferrin's ex-husband, James Phillips, resembled Zodiac's sketch. In February 2014, a man named Louis Myers reportedly confessed to a friend in 2001 to being the Zodiac after learning he was dying from liver cirrhosis. He requested that his friend, Randy Kenny, would go to the police when he died. Myers died in 2002, but Kenny wasn't able to get cooperation from officers. Myers attended the same high school as David Faraday and Mary Lau Jensen. Myers also allegedly worked in the same restaurant as Darlene Ferrin. He had access to the same kind military boots whose print was found in a Zodiac crime scene. During 1971, to 1973 when the Zodiac letters stopped. He was stationed with the military overseas. Kenny says that Myers confessed he targeted couples because he had a bad breakup with his girlfriend. Another suspect was Earl Van Best Jr., a writer named Gary L. Stewart recently claimed in his book that his biological father, who abandoned as a child, Earl Van Best, was the Zodiac. The reasons being is that the poem found on the desk near the Riverside attack is signed with the initials R.H. Best had two aliases, Richard Lee and Harry Lee. This could also indicate that the lead, Arlene Ferrin, knew might have been Best, not Allen. Best supposedly made many trips to Mexico, and Zodiac told Hartnell and Shepard he was going to Mexico. Stein was killed near the apartment of Best. Best's handwriting is very similar to Zodiac's. Best fingerprints show a scar on one of his fingers matching a bloody fingerprint left by Zodiac, but the main reason is that Best looks very similar to Zodiac's sketch. That at least means that if Best wasn't Zodiac, he may have been the one to kill Stein and was mistaken for Zodiac. Best and Allen could have worked together. They could have worked with other suspects as well, like Louis Myers or Rick Marshall. The only thing known for sure is that Allen is involved one way or another. Another theory of mine is that Don Chaney could have took Allen's ideas and applied them himself. What if Chaney was Zodiac? Diving into Zodiac's psychology, it's obvious he was very lonely and needed attention. That's why he demanded his letters to be published. He sent all these random letters, even ones simply about movies or holiday cards, because there was no one else to talk to it. He probably had a bad experience in love, that's why he targeted couples, especially focusing on killing the women as two men survived. The constant shooting and stabbing means he is letting out frustration. My main theory is that Zodiac was not one man, but a group of men like a gang, headed by Arthur Lee Allen, who came up with Zodiac. A lot of the suspects probably worked together, that's why the DNA and fingerprints were always different. But I will say this, whoever Zodiac is, he is most certainly interesting.